Today's episode is brought to you by DNA Sports Training. If you or someone you know wants to take their game to the next level, then hit up DNA Sports Training. Visit DNASportsDenver.com to book a training session. We offer specialized sports training from football to track and field and everything else in between. Whether you're an offensive or defensive lineman wanting to get better off the ball, or you're an athlete wanting to improve your speed and agility, we have something for you over at DNA. Visit DNASportsDenver.com right now and sign up. Yeah. MC ran up in this motherfucker. West, y'all.
Where's your...
You know what song that's from?
No, what is it?
Now in my younger days, I used to sport a rag, backpack full of cans, plus a 4-4 mag.
Damn,
G'd up from the feet up, blued up from a shoe, a pine coo up. No, nothing?
No, I mean, I know it's MC Ren.
Yeah, but that's on the Chronic 2001.
When?
Watch, we'll play it after, I'll show you.
No. What song is it? What's the name of the song?
I'm not going to name drop
What's
it.
the name of the song, cuz? Yo, man, you ain't got to act all brand new, dude. You ain't name dropping nothing. What up, y'all?
What up?
Shoot, man, just chilling. What's good with you, bro?
Another day, bro. Just, another day in this cutthroat world that we live in.
Yeah,
you know what
though.
I'm saying? And you got to be cutthroat, bro.
It's really nice sweater you wearing.
Oh, this? Oh, yeah. Shout out to my boy AJ.
Yeah.
Hat, everything,
Let's go.
supporting the brother.
Hey,
And
in the
and
bus.
Coach Prime, because, that portal is looking a little bit more fruitful lately.
What do you think about Goldberg's son coming to play for him, bro?
I want to see him spare somebody
Did you ever see Goldberg play football?
a little bit.
That boy played.
A little bit.
Boy played.
Yeah,
So let's see if his son's like, chip off the old block.
that'll be cool. That'll be really cool, actually.
I think he was committed to Alabama, or he was considering Alabama.
Yeah, the portal's looking good though right now, bro. And for all you guys in the
Cheers,
portal,
by the way.
for all you guys, just looking for a place to play, he ain't hard to find.
If you want to come play somewhere where your head coach isn't going to get all up in the music videos,
He's gonna create your own video.
nah, he
You know
gets
what
up
I'm
in
saying?
the music video.
Like he's gonna
He's
be
got
in
some
your
dick-
video,
wow.
but you want him in your video
Listen,
because he got that shine, baby.
what I'm about to say, about a year ago, would have a different tune to it, but now it's a way different tune, so I don't really want to say it, but he's got them Diddy vibes.
Whoa,
But I wasn't talking about the recent Diddy. I'm talking about the dance in front of the camera
Nah.
and come on, man. Prime likes to be in front of that camera.
the camera just finds its way to greatness sometimes. You know what I mean?
I feel you. We getting off topic, but I feel you.
Yeah, I know.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. And you?
Chilling, dude. You have a good weekend?
I did. It was cool.
Survive the cold?
It was. I was gonna say it was a little more than cool. It was freezing.
It's a freezing weekend.
This dude at my job, bro, goes, "No one told me you can't build a snowman in under freezing temperatures." I was like, "Yeah, no one told me that you had to tell somebody that when it was freezing outside, you probably shouldn't go play in the snow."
Well, I mean, why not?
I'm an asshole sometimes. You know what I mean?
Well, why not, though?
He's like, my wife's feet were all red and my fingers.
Oh, he literally didn't know that you can't be in the snow that long?
He didn't know. He's from he didn't
Where's he
know.
from?
California. Shout out to him though.
Shout out to Cali.
I just, it's just, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Say things like that. Like,
I
what do you
mean,
say to that? Besides, duh.
if you don't know, you don't know, bro.
How do you not know? Bro, that's like me saying, oh, I didn't know I should not play in fire.
I mean,
Or I didn't know the ocean was that powerful by the sounds of the waves.
How did you find out the stove was hot?
Because it cooked the food.
Nah, man, you found out because you touched it.
No, I didn't. I found out because the shit was able to take something that was raw and make it food.
Make it done.
Yeah, bro. Like,
And so you knew the stove was hot
I
because
guess-
you never touched the stove or the iron or something. Figured out
I've
that shit
gotten-
was hot, and then you were like, I don't need to touch that no more.
I've been burnt before.
I mean, I guess so. I guess that doesn't work because if I see an ice cube, I know the ice cube's cold. So if I see that shit falling from the sky and stacking up in the front yard, I guess I should know it's cold. Right?
Right.
Common sense, like you said. I guess you're right. When I went to school out in Missouri.
Also, even if you don't know, right, when you walk outside, your body automatically gets that it's fucking freezing. Why are you out there?
When I went to school out in Missouri, I went to school with a kid that was from Alabama, like the southernmost part of Alabama you can get, and
Like the Alabama Hot Pocket.
like the Alabama Hot Pocket.
Ooh.
And so it started snowing. I ain't googling that shit. I don't need
I
no.
didn't say Google.
Oh, I thought you said Google that shit.
No, that was your instincts.
But it started to snow pretty bad down there, and we started having a snowball fight, and he got hit in the fucking ear with one. And you know how that feels, bro.
Yeah.
Anybody that ain't never been hit in the ear with a snowball, you should consider yourself lucky, blessed even.
Yeah.
But he got hit in the ear with one, bro, and he did not like it. He did not like it.
It got stuck, I would imagine. I remember seeing a few people getting hit with the...
I just remember, oh, fuck. It was like, yo, welcome to fucking snow, bitch.
Yeah, I've seen some fights happen over snowballs,
You seen some fights happen over balls.
basketballs, footballs. You're right.
Well, I wasn't going nowhere
I've
with
seen
that.
some fight happening over some flesh balls, too. You know what I mean? Shorty comes in and sees some other chick in your bed. Like, what? Motherfucker.
And then fight starts.
Jerry.
Remember that show?
I do remember that show.
You used to watch that shit?
Hell yeah.
I mean, I know
All
you
the time.
remember it, but I don't know if you remember that
Watched
shit.
the movie, too. Remember the movie?
Yeah.
Ringmaster?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're way off topic, but it's cool to just flow.
It's cool,
You know
bro.
what
It's
I
cool
mean?
to catch
just
up and see. I mean, we got a lot going on today, bro. We're gonna talk. We're gonna react to playoff action.
Yeah.
Over here, giving kisses of death to the Cowboys and the Browns. If y'all didn't see that, go back and watch that episode. Dom's over here,
Hey.
just sealing people's fate with every word.
You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can take a worker to Figueroa, but she might not make $1.
You're so stupid. Our boy MCF is on his way to international, so we're gonna
Shout
talk
out to-
about that a little bit here in a bit.
Shout out to MCF. Did you see Coach D over at the North Denver Banger? We're going to talk about that as well.
I did. Her and Coach D Herrera, bro, they was over there representing, dude. I had to say what's up to him. DJ, you know, represented pretty hard for Denver North over there that day too.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of kids out there that were putting in work, bro. A lot of kids came home with the gold, you know, but...
Speaking of, man, how come you ain't wearing your gold?
Oh, no, I decided not to freeze them out.
Yo,
today.
if I'd have got one of them changed from the Banger, I definitely would have been rocking this shit.
Yeah, you know, I would have been rocking DJs, but, you know, he fell a little short, but
That's okay.
sometimes that's how it happens, you know what I mean? You take lessons in life.
750 kids, right?
750 kids.
That's good. You know, obviously he's not wrestling 750 fucking kids, but that's good competition.
Yeah, his bracket was bigger than normal. The kid that he wrestled is a good wrestler, bro. He's been doing it for a while. He does wrestling, karate, jiu-jitsu. He does a lot of stuff. Like, he's just active in combat sports and not football, not hockey. You know what I mean? Like, he's physically doing something. So he's fighting all the time. And he's longer. He's a lot longer. So he was able to pin DJ at the very end of the third period, and
That was that.
and he got it. So, you know, DJ lasted a little bit longer with him, and next time we see him, you know, progression. It's all about progression, so we're coming back.
Well, I thought the Banger was dope, and
Banger
we
was
got some.
fire.
You know, we'll show some video of that here in a second of DJ getting it in, because I thought it was super fresh, bro. But I thought the Banger was dope, dude. Crazy amount of people.
Man, it was because it's the best event, bro. Everybody
Dude, I've
knows
never
it.
seen the parking lot like that over there at North. Like, I don't know if you saw it because you were there. I had to leave.
Yeah.
I left about 2 because I had, I was making my mom some dinner this weekend.
Oh.
And I left, and
Yeah.
fuck, dude, it was almost impossible getting out that parking lot.
Yeah, no, I had to go to the store a few times, even early in the morning, and it was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't find a place to sit. There wasn't a place to park.
Oh, dude, people were getting pissed.
And, you know, it was just a blessed event, bro. A lot of people were out. You know, it was a beautiful thing to see. You know, even, like, you'd have to think, like, even, like, the North staff that was flowing around.
Yeah, yep.
Right? have to be like, well, damn, look at this. This is the youth thing.
Yeah.
It's huge, but it's all across the state.
Yeah,
People
no,
across the state come into that. You know what I mean? It's
for
not
sure.
just a duel.
No, it was a nice, nice little tournament there, and I was actually surprised, bro, because for whatever reason, I don't know if it's nostalgia or what it was, I just felt like the gym was bigger in terms of like bleacher space.
Yeah.
Like for whatever reason, something about me, I just thought it was bigger.
Those
But
bleachers come out pretty far and take up a lot of that room of the gym. It's not that big in there, honestly.
yeah,
And the hall space isn't that big. Like,
no,
honestly, I was telling Zach, shout out to Zach. I was telling him next year we're just gonna have to rent the Pepsi Center for the size of event that the banger
fucking
is. You know what I mean?
stupid.
We plan to have probably Dr. Dre or somebody performing an intermission. So I think we'll be at the Pepsi Center next year. You guys should already start your registration early.
RSVP.
Because it's gonna be even better next year than
Zach,
it was this year.
we here anytime's gonna sponsor that.
Yep, anytime,
They're gonna put on the banger at the
building.
Pepsi Center. Nah, bro, that was cool, bro. Shout out to Zach and his crew for holding it down. Rachel for all the work they're doing over there, man. I got to do a little work over there, and I had some issues, technical issues going down, and man, they helped me out real quick, and walking around there, dude, the food, like that's what I heard. That's all you said the whole time, bro. That's all you said. Trav even hit me. He's like, you got to go try this. My wife's green chili enchiladas. And I was like, all right, went, dude, fire. Everything over there in that back was fire. What they were slanging at the concessions was dope. I didn't realize USA Wrestling came through and they had a nice little setup with all the merch and whatnot, bro.
Yeah.
Like it was dope, dude. Like I was thoroughly impressed with the banger.
Yeah, no, and there was a lot of good matches out there, bro. A lot of talented wrestlers from all over the state, you know what I mean, competing and putting on a show, bro. And it was exactly what the title is, a banger.
Yup. But what I want to do real quick, bro, is there was a video I saw
Okay.
online.
Went kind of almost viral.
My bad. Hold on. Let's get this going again. Let me get this potted up correctly, bro, because I owe it justice. But
Yeah, and this, this video.
I know he's been wrestling, but this is his second year.
Yeah.
And he's starting to find a little bit of success in it, and what he's doing. So shout out to him, bro. I seen him before we got started today, and I had to give him his props, bro, because it was due. I told him, man, I seen that step through you did, or that slam you did, bro, that hip toss, and
Hey,
I had to give him props for it, bro.
And honestly, bro, like it's a fight. Like I don't think people really realize like how much of a fight it is every single match, especially when you're at that weight class. You know what I mean? Like these young men are in there battling, bro. Shout out to the other young man. I'm not gonna mention his name.
Yeah.
He's a top end wrestler, top end athlete in the state. You know what I mean? And hopefully he'll be on our Colorado Wolfpack soon. Because I would love to see him and DJ on the football field just destroying kids. So I definitely want to reach out to his parents and continue to have him because, DJ doing that was even more impressive because that kid is a stud, bro.
Yeah.
That kid is a great athlete, and the fact that DJ was able to do that to him was kind of impressive, and I don't know how many times DJ would be able to repeat that on that same athlete because, in all honesty, he's a high-end athlete, like I said, so, they're competing at a high level. It's a fight, so you got to respect it, and you got to respect both athletes throughout that process, you know what I mean? And you can't be too crazy on either end of the spectrum and taking it too personal or rubbing it in too much because at the end of the day, it's kids in a fight, and you got to show sportsmanship even more than in any other sport, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, and I think too, you can be humbled so quickly, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You get humbled real fast in that sport. But I do think, I think it's important, dude, to have little moments of growth like that, man, and just be able to be like, I couldn't do this before, and now I can do this, and it's cool. for regardless, even if it wasn't DJ and it was another kid, bro, it's just cool that we're able to see kids participate and do their thing, man, and have like real good moments like that. Maybe that's the kind of moment that kind of pushes them forward and keeps them moving and keeps them wanting to continue on within the sport, dude. And and other young kids, there were a lot of young kids there.
Yeah.
A lot of young kids maybe that weren't wrestling, that were there as spectators. Maybe, they see that and they develop a love for, the sport or a curiosity for the sport. I thought the video was funny. Shout out to Frank and Frankie. And whoever was screaming, I don't want to mention the names of who was screaming.
No, I will. That was all state quarterback Frankie Nardano.
Mr. Allstate.
Cheering on his little cousin, rightfully. That was a big moment, bro. And him cheering like that for his little cousin honestly made his day.
Dog, you can hear the passion in his voice, like the joy in his voice and his celebration.
And DJ losing that day was tough for him. Like he was really upset about it. But even afterwards, watching that video over again, he was just like, you know what, like my day was cool. Like it was whatever,
dude.
Like,
it's cool, bro, when your family gets to witness.
What I mean? Support goes a long ways, bro. And that's why a lot of people should support all these young athletes out there, including, our young friend, that kid that's going to be representing Colorado at Nationals, the young phenom, MCF himself.
Yeah, man. And I just wanted
There was a few kids in there early, and it was a couple of the main kids in there putting in that work early, what we expect to see, and he was one of those kids. So, shout out to him. We're a big supporter of him, and we definitely got to get out to this fundraiser for sure.
Once again, man, let me throw it up one more time. As he tries to pursue taking his game as far as he can take it and trying to hit that next level. So, Dom,
what up?
Froze our asses off this weekend. I don't know about you.
It was pretty cold, bro, but like most smart people, I kind of try to stay inside for the most.
But you was out on Sunday.
I was out on Sunday, but I didn't think Sunday was that cold. It was cold actually.
You were running around a bunch. I like
actually
Saturday.
I was out both cold days because Monday was frigid. And I had to go to work, bro. It was freezing. So I'm not gonna sit here and cap. Actually, I was out there in the cold, and it was cold.
Yeah. So Sunday we were out there at the thing, at the Banger, and when I first got there at 8 and no one's there, hardly anybody showed up. Yeah, there's been just a few people. It was like, fuck, it's cold in this gym, dude. Like, and that changed quickly, bro. Once some people started coming through, like it filled up very fast, and it got warm in there, bro, to the point where I was like just in my t-shirt, like, okay, we're back now. This is the kind of weather I like. But it's Colorado, man. But it wasn't just us, dude. It's all over. These football games this weekend were nuts.
They were, dude. Did you see all the reports of like frostbite and everything from the KC game?
Nah,
Yeah, dude.
I
A bunch
believe
of
it though.
people are like reports of frostbite.
Like fans and shit or what?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because it was frigid out there.
It was, dude.
You see people out there without shirts on. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It's a football
yeah.
game. You're passionate, but come on, let's not die for this.
We'll
like,
get,
come on, you willing to die for this?
we'll get into that a little bit more in a second.
Yeah,
but
we will.
you know, I knew the Dolphins were gonna have a rough go at it because of that cold weather, man. You know, both teams playing it, but it's wild, man. Down in Texas, it got down into the 20s, and they're not used to that shit, bro. They freeze up when them roads freeze up. So
you know what you got to do is just make sure that you prepare for this type of weather.
yeah,
You know, do all the proper preparation so that way you prevent poor performance. You know what I like to say all the time.
Yeah.
And you know, you got to make sure that you leave a drip, you know, at night so that way your pipes don't freeze up and bust up.
that's right.
You know, you got to make sure that you're doing all that stuff. But if it doesn't happen,
That's right.
then you just got to make a call, and you got to call one place.
Yo, shout out to Anytime Flood Restoration and my boy Zach G over there for all of your water damage, mold remediation, and structural dry out needs. Hit them up 720-837-1184 and visit their website at anytimefloodrestoration.com. You can also hit them on the email at anytimefloodrestoration@gmail.com. They're A+ rated in the BBB, licensed, bonded, insured, and certified with the IICRC. Yo, this time of year,
Woo!
pipes freeze.
Sorry, that just deserved a Rick Flair. Woo!
Pipes freeze, things happen, man. So make sure you hit up our boy Zach G over there at Anytime Flood Restoration. Make sure that you tell him we sent you over there.
Yeah, no, for sure, because, you know, pipes do freeze and things happen. Heaters go out. And, you know, you never know when you're going to need a good company,
Yeah.
a family-owned company who's going to treat you with the compassion that you need, but also give you the quality work, you know, at a decent price.
Respectable work, respectable price, man. Yo, wild card weekend.
Woo.
It deserved a Ric Flair woo. Did you see Ric Flair on the Monday night broadcast?
It did that and didn't, bro. Like, come on. Like, what what
What happened? What do you mean what happened? Fools was getting whipped. That's what happened. Let me ask you a question, bro. How do you feel about giving
audacity? It's like,
How do you feel about giving the old Cleveland Browns and
Listen.
the Dallas Cowboys the kiss of death, bro?
I didn't give nobody nothing. Look, I don't believe in none of that bull crap that you're about to say.
Man,
This is the bottom line. When you strap up your helmet
Come on,
and you
Stone
come
Cold.
to play, you either get in there and you do what you got to do, bro, or you get beat. And that's exactly what happened. CJ
Okay.
Stroud came to play, and he showed that he's the king of Cleveland, right? Just because he ain't at Ohio State no more doesn't mean he doesn't run things. And he still
runs Ohio.
He still runs it, bro. So that's just the way it's going to go. And then,
he looked good, bro.
I knew that it was
here we
going to
go.
be a little bit too frigid
Here we go.
for your dogs, and they were honestly a little too banged up.
Yep.
You know, and the chips were stacked against them, you know, and everybody, you know, I think what happens sometimes when, you know, you say speak it into existence, and people pay attention to social media and they let the narratives control their life sometimes. And I think the Dallas Cowboys have let the narratives control their life. Every time they get in the playoffs, they just do this shit the bed type performance. You know what I mean? And lose, bro. Like, you have this defense that's dominant all year until the end.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Are they hurt? Do they have 25 injuries on their roster like the Miami Dolphins do? No,
Nah,
I don't think so.
Not at all.
You know, so like, I don't know what's going on. It was wild, but it wasn't like a wild card that you get and you win a hand with. It's like you get stuck with one wild card and a 2 of clubs. And you lose with a pair of deuces. That's what kind of wild card weekend it was for me.
It was a dud weekend for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
What'd you think about all the blowouts, dude?
I mean, the tires because the frigid weather. It's like, no, I mean, there was some blowouts, but I mean, you look at it 26-7, not really a blowout, right? I mean,
Bro, that game was a fucking blowout.
It was.
Even when the Dolphins scored the touchdown to make it 10-7.
It was cold. That game should have been canceled, dog, or postponed. They postponed Buffalo.
That's because, dude, did you see fucking Buffalo?
Did you see?
The visibility was horrible.
The temperature was horrible.
It wasn't snowing. It was only the fourth coldest game in the NFL history.
Okay.
Yo.
And everybody now.
The only reason why they postponed the Buffalo game was because the governor came out and called it a state of emergency.
Because the governor was smart and he wanted to postpone it to a day that he could win the game, which they did.
While she just wanted.
Whatever. You know, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna let them do what they. I ain't gonna. Hey, bro, you gotta be careful with this. So don't you start just assuming anything when it comes to anyone's gender, my friend. Be respectful of everybody. Don't try to play me.
Bitch, don't try to flip that on me because you didn't know what the governor was.
Nah, you're trying to play me.
Look, bro, the only game that finished with
it's making
a single possession
like the NFL might be a little more scripted.
Was Detroit and the Rams.
Does Motor City need to pay for
Navy
that
Federal
stadium?
Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. I mean, they got that big time stadium.
Love Russell.
They got that big time stadium. And it has to get paid for it. And Detroit's one of the poorest.
He didn't play our first game, so I'm
poor
excited to
over
see him.
there
I
in
think
Detroit.
He's a really good player.
And so
he has been for a
does
while.
the NFL have to
He's been
kind
an
of
impactful guy
figure out how to bring some revenue to
he's a good
Detroit
player,
by getting them into the Super Bowl and maybe even giving them a victory?
Are you going like all conspiracy theories?
Scripted a little bit? Is it?
Nah, I don't think. Not in this
I
case.
hope not. I hope not, because that's what it's starting to feel like when you see teams like the Eagles lose 32-9 to the Buccaneers. To the Yuccaneers.
Dog, the
To
writing's been on the wall with
Baker
the writing's been on the wall with the Eagles for.
We don't migrate. No, I'm talking actually.
You told me you wasn't supposed to feel them that high.
Sit back.
The Eagles been the writing been on the wall with the Eagles for the last 2 months, bro.
Yeah, it has, but I really wanted to see Kelsey right off of Ray Lewis. There's only
Just
one
keeping
way.
it real.
Yeah, you don't always get a sunset. Sometimes fucking the lights get put out. Nah, man. I was surprised by the Buccaneers in that. I was surprised by the Cowboys choking it up. Then maybe I wasn't. But what was the biggest surprise to you from this past game?
There's a lot of blame to
Honestly,
go
I think the biggest surprise had to be the
people I've
Packers.
had this conversation with.
Beating the Cowboys.
Okay.
I really expected the Cowboys. I mean, Houston was pretty surprising, but Cleveland was more of a, like,
Dallas has stood
I
pat.
think this
They signed
time,
Stephon
right?
Gilmore.
Dallas has been pretty
Great.
dominant
Stephon
all
Gilmore is a really good cornerback.
So
Did we
Dallas
think that
losing
was
to the
gonna put them over
Packers
the
was a
hump
little
to
bit
win the Super
surprising
Bowl?
to me. But
No.
honestly,
I have said on this
Love
show,
went in there and
time
he,
again and told
sometimes when
y'all
you cook
that
something with
Dallas
love, it's like one of the
roster
best
is an
dishes
issue
ever.
when you get to the point
Right,
of
and
winning
he
the
cooked
Super
that
Bowl.
ass whooping with
my
love,
God.
bro. Like
They are
honestly
a really
had a
good
great
roster.
game, probably
I'm not
one of
saying
the
they suck,
best games
but
of
when
his
we get to the
career,
point of winning Super
and
Bowls,
he went in there
there is a
and
difference
just
in what
did what he
teams
was
that
supposed to
have
do.
won
So
them
as
did
much
has
as the
done
Cowboys
and
did
what
what the
Dallas has
Cowboys
done.
do,
That's period.
Jordan Love also had a good game. So let's not spin the narrative to just say it was all about the Cowboys being cursed.
Oh no, not at
and
all.
not about Green Bay playing a phenomenal game.
Hey, before they knew what
Can
what
beat
was
San
going on,
Francisco, were the Niners worried now?
before they knew what was going on, it was 20-0. Mm-hmm. And then they get back on the field like, yo, all right, let's go ahead and
named after?
get back in this game. And then boom, pick six, and it's 27-0 now.
another Steven?
The game's over right there, bro. At that point, they put the foot on the throat and didn't take it off. To the tune. I mean, I know the score was a little bit closer than what it actually was,
I think he's a great head coach.
but
You know what's crazy?
obviously,
48-32.
No,
You know
nobody's
what's crazy
good enough
about
this year.
all this weekend?
I wasn't. None of the
If you
players.
look at all
None of
those
the coaches are good
games,
enough down the stretch. That's the
the
reality of this
leading
business.
passers
When you're that
were all
bad,
on
it's
losing
a
teams.
collective thing. And
I
but,
think it
you know,
goes
I'll
to show
always
you
have
though
faith in
that
Nick Sirianni. I think he's
right?
he does a lot of
And then you
things
go down,
structurally and
and you go
organizationally
Dak
that I
Prescott.
think are really
Then you go to
well
Matthew
done.
Stafford.
Obviously,
and
we
then
got a
you go
lot
to
of things to
Rudolph.
fix.
Baker had 337
Yeah,
numbers.
Baker did
The
good.
outcomes
Baker
and
threw.
the offense in
but
general from
just
my
saying, like, it
perspective
was
for next year. But
in each game, it looked like the guys who were slinging it out a little bit more lost the game. But I don't know. It
I
was
don't know what did fucking Goff had. Goff had fucking 277
Yeah.
yards.
he almost threw 100 yards more than him though. Stafford did.
He had
The
100.
Rams, honestly, that game was crazy though. That game could have been either one of their games.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a good game. The Texans, bro. CJ Stroud, bro.
Well,
Let's
the
talk
Texans
about-
had what, back-to-back pick sixes on
like,
drives?
oh yeah, back to back.
Yo,
Does it-
CJ Stroud went for 274 too
let's
and 3
talk-
tutties.
Let's talk about him a little bit, bro. Does this like say rookie of the year?
Oh, yeah, I think that offensive rookie of the year has been in the bag. I think it's been in the bag.
Overall.
They do an offensive and a defensive rookie of the year.
But like in your opinion,
Yes.
he's the overall best.
Yes,
rookie of the
absolutely,
year.
absolutely.
Yeah, because like to me, bro, like when he was down was Houston's down weeks,
Yeah.
and ever since he's been in, like he's a stud, dog. Like he was delivering some plays while under pressure, while getting hit, and still
Poise,
making
bro.
things
Poise.
happen. Like his connection,
Yep.
I know Ohio State and Michigan. I know they're rivals, but the connection that it's made in the NFL is crazy.
Well, and they always say that Ohio State quarterbacks never pan out, right? And he's bucking the trend in a major way. And usually they,
Like what you
usually
did there.
you like
Yeah,
that.
no pun
Usually
intended on the buck. I like what
Usually
you did
it
there.
takes like 6 games and they start figuring it out on tape. And he has a whole season now.
Yeah.
And they still haven't figured him out. He's so. I think Singletary's been very complimentary to Stroud, and Schultz has been key. He comes up in key moments, and then you said Nico Collins, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
And then their run game is phenomenal, and their defense is good too.
yeah, absolutely. No, man, they're good. Do you think they can? So, not to jump too far ahead, but do you think they got a chance this weekend?
We might as well get there, right? I think that I don't know if I want to pick
So
because
before,
as I have remember, the last time I picked, it was not very good, my friend.
so
But they're a scary team right now. I will tell you that much. Like the way they're playing, they got momentum, and they're going up to M&T Bank Stadium,
yeah,
and they're gonna play, a dominant Baltimore Ravens football team, and a very healthy Baltimore Ravens football team, I think, as well. So, it's gonna be a tough task for them to go into Baltimore and do what they did this past weekend. But honestly, if they can do that to the Browns, bro, I can see them being able to win games against anybody in the AFC.
So let me ask you a question. Who inspired? So Houston's got to go play the number 1 seed in the Baltimore Ravens. Green Bay's got to go play the number 1 seed in the San Francisco 49ers. Which one of them two, Jordan Love or CJ Stroud or both, did they inspire, did their performances inspire enough belief in them from you to think that they can pull off an upset?
Oh, man, I think CJ Stroud's overall performance throughout the year, not only this last week, has me more of a believer in him being able to go into M&T Bank. And also because I don't know if I'm as sold on the Ravens as I am on the Niners. I think the Niners are a overall really good team.
Yeah.
Like, from fucking center, you know what I mean, to safety, to D-tackle, to receiver. Like,
Yeah.
all over the field.
They're solid.
Special teams to kicker, punt, like, everywhere, they're they are deep, bro.
Yeah.
And they're very good. And I believe that the Texans have a better chance at beating the Ravens than the Packers do the Niners. But I also think the Niners got to be worried because I thought the Cowboys, honestly, were probably one of those teams.
So you just kind of said it. You believe the Texans have more of a chance as a team. You're more inspired in belief that they have a better chance in Baltimore than Green Bay does in San Francisco.
I do.
I think I have to agree with you on that. I think the team that really, I hate to say this, and the team whose performance kind of inspired more belief from me into them this weekend would probably be Buffalo. I've been hearing people talking about it, the last 6 weeks since they've been on this little streak, and even going into Miami and beating Miami the way they did, to steal the division away from them. I think after seeing them get up big against Indy and then do what they need to do to hold on, score late, seal that game, I think that inspired some belief that this might be their year, and they might actually be able to break out. Now, if Houston does go and upset Baltimore, that means the whole AFC will be going through Buffalo. And, Kansas City's found their way to beat Buffalo over the years, and that's always been in Kansas City. This year's different. This year's not going to be in Kansas City. This year's going to be in Buffalo, and I'm interested, very, very interested in that game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree with you, but the thing is I don't know if I'm a cursed team. I don't know if I feel comfortable right now. If I'm Detroit and if I'm the Niners, not the Niners, Buffalo, I'd be worried that, my history, that my past is going to come around to bite me in the ass. Because if anything shows what just happened this last week is that those cursed teams aren't going to live long in these playoffs.
Do you think Lamar is cursed? He has more fumbles in playoff than touchdowns.
I think the Texans are gonna push that envelope a little bit this weekend.
Think so?
I think so, but I think maybe both Harbaughs can be in the championship at the same time. The Michigan just won theirs, and now Harbaugh might be able to make it to
that'd be cool,
to the big dance, and then we could see if he can win one the same year his brother did.
That'd be pretty cool.
It would
Not
be
only
cool.
to play each other in the Super Bowl, but then in the same year, you both win a championship in your respective.
How proud of
levels.
a parent would you be? You know what I mean? Those are the moments that I really look for in sports anymore. Is like individual accolades and like seeing things like that and cheering for people. Right when you seen like the Chiefs play the Eagles and one Kelsey had to win.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
those are cool moments, bro. But honestly, like I think that I don't know. It's gonna be a tough task, and I think Texans going to Baltimore to beat them they have a good shot. They got a good run game. They got a good quarterback. They got a good defense. But Baltimore's stout.
That Baltimore front seven is just
Baltimore is
tough.
stout.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
the
they make-
Niners too. The Niners up front are mean.
Yeah.
And up front is our thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's hard to go against the Niners and the Ravens right now. Honestly, it really is.
And that's on both sides of the ball. Up front, they're solid. You know what I'm saying?
And if you think about conspiracies, they always talk about they always show the colors and it's always leaked and they leaked the Ravens and the Niners and it might be a Super Bowl rematch of the Blackout Bowl and Harbaugh and what if?
It'd be the Blackout Bowl in that black stadium over there at Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Pretty tight. Yeah. Be pretty tight. Looks like a Raven's nest.
it's kind of sad.
Do you give credence to that? Like this shit's rigged? Sometimes it feels that way,
I
doesn't
hope
it?
not. That's why this year I was telling him to do that work. Like sometimes this year feels more like that than ever for me. I don't know.
Do you
why.
think it's just because it's more talked about, so it's more in the front of your mind that when shit goes weird, you're like, shit is scripted? Because you never used to hear about it so much, and then I think more people suggest it now. And obviously, social media allows you to, kind of suggest shit on there with no basis.
Well, I think it's kind of crazy that they let some teams, look. I mean, shit happens. I don't know, dude. It's crazy because teams look so dominant, for the
They do.
length of the year,
They do.
and then they lose.
They do.
Come on, oh yes, since when does something consistent stop being consistent?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get any given Sunday. That's the theme, right? So are they trying to overplay that?
But does that go to speak to how much of a mental game the NFL is, or football is in general too? Because you see it on all levels, bro, where teams that are...
I think every sport is a mental game, though.
Yeah, but on this level, where very few things separate you, everyone's fast, everyone's strong, everyone's the best of the best. So what separates people at that point? What are the little things that separate you at that point? And it's things like mental awareness and being mentally tough and strong and being able to fight through some things, some adversity. When things aren't going your way, all of a sudden that doubt creeps in. Is fuck, are we cursed? Is it more going against us than what we think? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That little edge, bro, You look at Baker Mayfield. The edge and confidence that guy's dog when he was out there confident and shit. But I remember him,
Buccaneers and Detroit in the NFC Champions. Like what is that?
they can't. They're not playing the NFC Championship.
No, I'm saying what like.
Oh,
No, they're playing this week.
divisional round, baby.
They're playing this week.
Yeah.
That's the matchup.
Yeah.
But that's stupid too. Like
If it was scripted, they would meet in the.
they would meet in the NFC Championship. Maybe.
Or is it San Francisco 49ers been on top over the last few years, and the new upstart Detroit Lions meet
Or
up?
is the Packers Detroit more of a historic matchup?
That would be
You know
I'd be
what
all
I
right
mean?
with that.
Like Packers Detroit in the
Yeah, you good.
I don't know what that is, but would we see that? And then you think about the AFC, right? Do you see again what matchup are we going to see there? You know what I mean? Like, what are you thinking is going to happen?
Well, I mean, I think if the NFL was scripted again, what the fuck is this buzzing sound?
Oh, sounds like yours.
Should we pause it real quick?
No.
Fuck it, huh?
Oh, maybe it's
It's these cables, bro. I have to get some new cables or something. But I think if the NFL was scripted, as kind of, what some of the thought is, wouldn't Kansas City and Buffalo in the AFC Championship kind of be, the play?
I guess it would be.
I mean, I don't know. I guess also at the same time too, you kind of maybe it's not scripted from certain parts, So like maybe the NFL lets it go through, and then now they want to get the best matchup, and they're like, "Yo, let's, this is what we have to go through to get this best matchup." I think of the games that we haven't talked about yet, that Kansas City Buffalo one, bro, has potential for it to be the best one of the weekend.
I mean, is that almost a sense of like Brady and Manning? Has that come to that?
That's kind of what they've been saying. That's
Right,
what the
like-
talking heads been saying.
Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen.
It's what, third time in the playoffs? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Is this-
does Buffalo get it?
Maybe.
I hope so. Kind of like right when you think about Buffalo, you think about all the greats.
Yeah.
Right. You think we had the I don't know. It wasn't with you actually. I was having the conversation at work. We were talking about Barry Sanders and if he was better than Emmett, and if they switched roles, how would both those teams turn out, and who would be more successful, and who has a better career, and all that. And then we're like, well, you can't not mention the other great back during that time frame,
Yeah.
and he happened to be in Buffalo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that team that Buffalo had during that time was phenomenal, and Buffalo has had some phenomenal football teams.
Listen, not to sidetrack us, but how about Oklahoma State having Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders
At the
same
same
fucking time, in the same backfield? Imagine that. You're right. You're right, though.
That's why you think that's why Barry's so unselfish.
Maybe. He
'Cause
learned it.
shared the backfield with such a, also great running back. When you're around greatness, sometimes you just gotta respect it, bro.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of alphas in this world, and sometimes when an alpha gets around another alpha, they just show respect,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes they're like, all right, we'll see each other when we have to see each other, but right now.
Right now, it's a nod of the cap.
Out of
It's
the
love.
cap, you know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
And is that why Barry is so damn humble with everything that he did? Because he played, with such a great back in college.
I'm sure it helps. I'm sure it offers him some perspective. Of before we make picks, bro. Do you think there are going to be any blowouts similar to last week in this week's action?
I could see how it would happen in a few places. I could see how Baltimore would maybe blow out the Texans.
Yeah.
Everybody riding the hype of what they did last week. They go into M&T Bank and Lamar's well rested.
Yeah.
And sheesh, it's a fireworks show. You know what I mean? And they go up by 30 in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden it gets even worse than that afterwards.
Do you think the 2 weeks off, because Lamar didn't play the last game, do you think that's going to...
I think it could, and I've said that before, you know what I mean? Especially against a hot team like the Texans. So maybe the upset could be on the latter end.
Yeah.
I don't know if I see a blowout necessarily in the Niners and Packers. I think that's going to be a good game. I think those teams have a lot of history. They're both good teams. I think it's going to be
I could see it being close early and then the Niners pulling away and kind of the score doesn't indicate how close the game was.
yeah, like they'll win by a few touchdowns, but it'll look like it's won
Yeah.
by a field goal.
For sure.
Detroit and the Bucks, I can see that being a blowout.
I definitely think that one has blowout potential.
Yeah, I could see Detroit just running it up.
Yeah. I definitely feel like they got the monkey out the back of not having a victory in the playoffs for 30 years. And then now that's just like, fucking, let's go.
Yeah. Detroit and the Texans in the Super Bowl would be nice.
That would be dope. Who has the most to lose this weekend, bro?
The Chiefs.
Think so?
No, it has to be the Chiefs or the Bills.
Why's that?
Because I think the Chiefs and the Bills are both on the cusp of having to make the decision of rebuild. Or I don't know, like I feel
No
like
way.
maybe not, but I feel like they're gonna I think the Chiefs are gonna start losing some pieces, and so is Buffalo.
I would give you pushback about the Chiefs just
Why?
because they've won fucking 2 already and they've been to 3 or 4 and
No, but-
they've got their dynasty built.
So your pushback on why they need to win it, or
I
why
don't-
do they need to build?
Who
Do
has
they
the
need
most to
start,
lose?
they're
I
gonna
don't
have
think
to
they're-
rebuild a little bit.
But I think if they lose this game,
And that's not to mention like the Broncos, the teams that are in their division are on their ass a little
they
bit.
ain't close.
Yes, they are.
They ain't close.
Yes, they are.
Listen, I believe if the Chiefs lose this one, it doesn't hurt as much as if the Buffalo loses this one. Because I think if Buffalo loses this one, you start questioning if they got the right coach.
No, for sure. Josh Allen.
You start wondering if Josh Allen can get it done in the big situations, kind of like they used to do with Peyton Manning.
The Ravens have a lot too.
They were talking. I listened to Brandon Stokely during the day, and he was talking about this game, and he was like, "Hey, this is like the time that we kept losing to New England, and then Indianapolis had them in Indianapolis, and then that's when they won and got to the Super Bowl, and Peyton Manning got the monkey off his back, and it is very similar in that. All right, you don't have to go to Kansas City no more. Now you're at home." Now you're hosting them. You're on fire. You're one of the hottest teams in the league going into the playoffs. You look complete for once. You got a running game for once. You look super complete. Like Josh Allen doesn't have to do it all. Of all these teams, bro, I think Buffalo has the most to lose this weekend.
So do you think they're the only ones with the coach in the hot seat still?
Out of the teams that remain,
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it,
I think so because maybe not even Tampa because I think Tampa got through last week and that solidified them,
I
right?
think so too.
I think it solidified Baker Mayfield as a long-term option for them, in at least the immediate long-term. The only team I could argue that has more to lose than Buffalo would be Baltimore. And I don't think necessarily that John Harbaugh would be in any kind of trouble or any kind of concern, but there would be some concern that they haven't been able to get past a certain threshold with Lamar Jackson as their quarterback. And at that point, you start wondering, do you have the right quarterback, right? They just paid him. So you kind of got to go through it. But I honestly feel, and did you think Mike Kyle Shanahan gets his seat gets a little warm if they blow this game against Green Bay?
Absolutely not.
He's in a good spot, right?
I mean, they've been consistent, bro. Like,
But they
When's
are
the
the
la-
best team in the league right now, and
But
it would be a
when-
major disappointment.
I mean, yes, it would, because the last few seasons they've been the best team in the league, and it's been a major disappointment because they've been injured, right? Like,
But they're healthy now.
They are healthy, and the expectation is to win, and I think the expectation will be sought. Like they'll see it through.
So if they lose this game, though,
They're not.
I'm just saying you got to play the hypothetical. Who's got the most to lose?
I don't think I mean, but when you're consistently that good, like, are you on the hot seat?
No, I'm just saying like if
Like
they
you might.
So
you
wonder
might,
if wonder if
take a lot of. You might take a lot of media
Wonder if-
attention. Oh, they were supposed to win. Everybody talked about them all year. Yada yada yada. They might take a lot of like grief from like the media and the fan base. But as far as him being in the hot seat from losing his job, absolutely not. Like he's brought consistency to the Niners.
But wonder if San Francisco gets blown out by Green Bay, and there's some questionable decisions. Like you don't think there's nothing on against Brock Purdy. There's nothing against Kyle Shanahan at all. Okay, so then I guess Buffalo is the team with the most to lose this weekend, followed by Baltimore.
Or by KC.
I can't go there with you in KC though.
Why though?
Because
Like
if they
how many more years can they ride the Kelsey and Mahomes?
well, here's the thing. You're right there. You're
Chris
right
Jones.
there.
Let's
You're
talk
right
about
there.
Chris Jones on
You're
the
right
defensive
there.
side.
You're
You
right
know,
there.
Let's talk about
But
a lot of their key
here's
players
the
that are
thing.
going to need contracts.
Their defense has been solid this year, right? They've had probably the best defense that they've had there. Where they've been let down all year, and which is why I think they'll get a pass, is because they have not had proper receiving play. Now, I'm not saying there's no scapegoats. I don't think Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes are in any kind of trouble because I think they've already solidified and proven what their standing is in KC. But that doesn't mean the OC's not in trouble.
Well, let's talk about what if Andy Reid decides to hang it up.
You think so?
What if he decides to hang it up soon? And then they're really on the brinks, right? Because now they got to figure out who's going to replace him and who's going to.
Oh, that dude,
who's
that
gonna
line
bring
would
that
be
magic?
that line would be
You know what I mean? And then
full. I think Mike Tomlin would be like, "Hey, I'm done here in Pittsburgh."
it would be big, but I don't know if anybody would fill those shoes. And the thing is
I got somebody who would. I got somebody who would replace him, and it would be seamless. Eric Bieniemy.
maybe
Hey, what's the difference between this year and last year?
Eric Bieniemy
Thank you,
and a few other key components.
dude.
on the
They're
offensive side
they're
of the
essentially
ball.
the same
You know, the
receivers.
same thing.
They're a year. I mean, Kelsey's a year older. Yeah, right. They played 19 games last year. Yeah,
Yeah, no, but I don't know. I mean, I think that KC has a lot to lose. I think they're starting year by year. They're dwindling away, right? They're kind of like Thanos when he snaps that finger, and you start to see all the Avengers dwindle away. That's what's happening to the Chiefs year after year, bro. They're losing
listen.
the mojo.
As long as they have Patrick Mahomes, bro, they're gonna have a chance.
You know what happened to Aaron Rodgers after he was the discount double check guy?
I mean, that's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers couldn't
the
hold
same
Patrick
thing-
Mahomes' jockstrap.
You know, now Pat Mahomes is fucking State Farm and Jake.
Listen, Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers ever was. Yeah, bitch. I said it.
No,
I
there's-
said it.
oh, come
I said
on,
it,
bro.
I said it.
Oh my god,
Patrick Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes is dope. I don't
Patrick
know. I would have to-
Mahomes
I would
is a
have to-
better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers at his peak.
That's so offensive to me that I have to like think about it because I'm not disagreeing with you yet for the sport, but it's offensive that you even said that to me.
It's hard to
I
say.
can't even respond to you, so I'm just gonna skip over that, and we're gonna go right to who do we got this weekend because
Let's
right
go.
now
Let's
I
go.
have a strong case of what the fuck is he talking about. Aaron Rodgers is an asshole,
Aaron Rodgers is
for
a great
sure.
quarterback, bro.
but Aaron Rodgers, bro, like
I'm not even.
I don't know if anybody's. I don't know. Pat Mahomes throws some beautiful balls,
Dude, Pat.
but Aaron Rodgers, bro, sometimes who throws a better no look? It has to be Aaron Rodgers.
No, it ain't though.
Oh, nah, dog. We need a poll.
Yo,
We need a
who do
poll.
you think? Who do you agree with? Do you agree
Who
with
throws
me?
No,
Or
no.
do you
I'm
agree
not
with-
saying overall quarterback yet. I never disagree.
Oh my!
I'm saying
God.
the better no look pass right now. Just that little element of their game because they're much.
I
more
can tell
than
you
that.
right now that I've seen it more on a statistic or on a highlight on ESPN from Patrick Mahomes than I have from Aaron Rodgers.
Recently,
Just period. And you can go, who throws the better Hail Mary? Because Aaron Rodgers has one that was a beautiful Hail Mary against Arizona. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I think you could also argue that Pat Mahomes has had a lot more weapons around him.
has Patrick Mahomes had? Was Tyreek Hill a first round wide
Tyreek
receiver?
Hill. No, he wasn't, but he should have been. That's the fucking
Was
fault of
Devontae
all-
Adams?
That's the fault of all
No,
those other
Devontae
motherfuckers.
Adams wasn't either, huh?
But come on, are we-
That's crazy, right? Though, but
it
think
is.
about it.
It is. It's so Tom Brady. I
Wow.
mean, he did look a little string bean.
How weird is it that Tom Brady, when the years that they won Super Bowl, he didn't have like the best receivers, and the years that he had the best receiver.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Where are you going with that?
He was a late pick too. San Diego State.
What did you just say?
Shut up.
He didn't go to San Diego State. LaDainian Tomlinson? No, he didn't.
Where'd he go?
He went to TCU.
Google it.
Oh, you want to put a wager?
No.
Come on, man, it's a wager.
No. No. I'm thinking someone else.
You're thinking Terrell Davis, who went to San Diego State,
Yeah, I'm thinking it's TD.
which was a 6th round pick. or a 5th round pick, one of the
He
two.
was, which is also probably one of the greatest running backs to ever play the game.
LT was like number 5.
He was probably one of the greatest running backs to ever play the game.
Who?
TD.
Respect. All right, let's get I'm sorry to throw us off course with this with
What
the
are we
Patrick
doing?
Mahomes debate.
Where are we at?
Who do you got this
Picks?
weekend? You want to go start the NFC or AFC?
NFC.
Since you already torched through that one.
Niners. I
Oh.
got the Niners and I got Detroit.
Niners and Detroit for the NFC title. And AFC.
I want to pick Buffalo, but I think it's going to be KC.
Wow.
I think it's going to be KC. And I want to pick Houston, but Baltimore is really good, and I think one home team has to win. So I think it's going to be KC Baltimore for the AFC Championship.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb here. And I'm going to say Jordan Love keeps it close. The Niners pull away. And I'll take the Niners over Green Bay.
Okay.
And I think Detroit's going to beat the shit out of Tampa Bay. And
So
I'm gonna,
you do think a blowout. You didn't say that earlier.
I do. I kind of alluded to it. I didn't want to
You
give my
alluded
pick
to it,
away.
but you didn't say
I
it.
think Detroit's going to win by a couple touchdowns.
Score.
31-13.
Okay.
I think that defense is going to be charged. I think Baker Mayfield is a beautiful story, and I think Tampa's a beautiful story. I think Detroit's going to get them though, and then in the AFC, I'm coming off the top rope, and I think C.J. Stroud is gonna. He's
I
gonna.
hope so.
Hey, he's him.
I hope he is.
And D'Amico Ryans, his coaching right now, and the way he coaches his defense, I think they're going to stir a lot of questions up in Baltimore with whether or not they have the right guy with Lamar Jackson, and they're going to have to stick with him for a couple of years to find that out. Otherwise, they're going to be like the Broncos with Russell Wilson. But I'm going to take Houston over Baltimore, and which means that the AFC title is going to go to Buffalo, as Buffalo's going to finally get the monkey out their back.
Okay.
Like I said, bro, I finally believe in what they're doing a little bit more. I hate it. I hate that I'm saying this, but I think it's going to be Houston and Buffalo
So you
in the
think
AFC
another
title.
cold weather game is going to defeat an indoor team.
What are you talking about?
You said Houston's going to Buffalo.
No, Houston's going to Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo's going to host the AFC title.
In a cold weather game.
Yeah,
against
but I didn't say
Houston.
who I'm picking to win that
Oh, you're
game.
going to pick Buffalo. You just said it's Buffalo's year. You just said that earlier.
I believe it's Buffalo's year. That doesn't mean I think they're going to win the whole freaking thing. I just think
what does that mean?
I think
their
it's the year they get the Kansas City monkey off their back.
They've been to the AFC Championship, my
And they've
dog.
lost to
They've
Buffalo.
been to the
Hey,
Super Bowl.
Buffalo's lost to Kansas City how many times over the last?
Oh, so you're just thinking KC.
I'm
is
talking
that
about this
team.
week. I'm not picking next week right now.
Oh, you were sounding like you were.
No,
riding that
no.
ship.
Listen, after
You
last
sound
week,
like you
bro.
were riding that
After
ship
last week, I ain't foreshadowing that. Although I did have Buffalo, if you go back to our picks, making it pretty far.
You did, but you also picked Miami.
Well, yeah, I had to.
But what if Miami beats Buffalo and wins the division? Is it a different story right now?
They would have played
Are they
Buffalo at
still-
home.
are
No,
they
they
still
would have got
alive?
the ass beaten Buffalo. No, here's the problem. Here's the problem with Miami, and you alluded to it. Too many injuries.
Yeah.
Too many injuries at key positions.
Okay, I was expecting you to say something else, then I was going to roast your ass. I was kind of alley-ooping you there, just so you know.
Nah,
I planned that.
No, I got it.
I planned that.
I'm realistic, bro. I'm not a.
You are.
I'm not blinded by my home team's colors. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't. I'm not picking the Raiders every time I get a chance to. Right?
Either do I.
I'm not picking Derek Carr first overall in the draft of fantasy
That
football.
wasn't me. That's a fact. That wasn't
What up,
me.
Joe? But nah, dude, like for real though, like they were running into a buzzsaw, and I do believe Buffalo's a good team, bro, and I do believe Buffalo's making it to the AFC Championship game. I don't know from there, especially if they have to go to Baltimore. If Baltimore does beat Houston, which I don't think is going to happen, but if it does, it's a different story then.
See, for me, the thing is I like to go off consistency. And I think about who's been consistent all year. Has it been Buffalo or KC? No. It's been Houston and Baltimore. They've been a consistent, good team all year. As long as C.J. Stroud's in the mix, they're good. As long as Lamar Jackson is in the mix, they're good. So I feel like and I'm gonna go on a limb. I feel like whoever wins out of Houston and Baltimore will be repping the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Ooh, I don't think. Oh, I don't know about that one.
I don't even give a fuck what you know, Al. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to know. You just gotta show
Hey.
up and see. We ain't hard to find. It's like
Primetime Dom
Nah,
over here.
no, but I do think that they're more consistent. But honestly, like that's what we thought about Dallas.
Why you would argue Dallas was a pretty consistent team coming into the playoffs,
They were.
but Green Bay was hotter.
Yeah, it's weird to call Green Bay.
So define your consistency though, because I mean you can argue that the records indicate
The Ravens
that.
are the number one team.
Let me finish my thought.
Okay.
Okay, you're talking about Houston being one of the most consistent teams.
Okay.
You can argue that the records would say that Baltimore was more consistent than Houston this year. You can argue that the record would say Buffalo was more consistent than Houston this year. Kansas City more consistent than Houston.
Why would you say that? Because they're
Based off of the record.
indicates that? No,
Yeah.
But I also said when C.J. Stroud is in the mix, they had a short period of time when he wasn't in the mix that they
Well, then let me
lost games.
let me qualify it with Buffalo changing their offensive coordinator mid-season, and that changing the complete outlook of their season. Because when they went to Joe Brady as offensive coordinator, they started running the ball more, and it's no mistake that when they were 6-6 and switched offensive coordinators, this is a product of what it was. Like you can't deny that either.
No,
Cheers.
cheers, brother.
You know what I mean? Like
It's
they've been consistent over the last 12 weeks.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's frustrating though that the NFL is coming to an end soon.
I mean, a little bit. We'll find stuff to pass our time.
We will, but I mean, what are we going to talk about, right? For a little bit. I mean, we're going to talk
Nuggets,
about
fool.
basketball. We're going to talk about Nuggets. You know,
We're gonna talk about the
but-
fish I catch.
God, football, bro. Like I love football.
Football is a passion.
I'm gonna miss Hard Knocks because I've been catching up actually.
Is there ever a time, bro, where the
I learned a
NFL's not
lot.
on top?
No,
You don't think so?
no. Is the UFC becoming the new NFL
Nah, not even close.
in their realm?
They've definitely overtaken boxing on a mainstream level.
Why do we just do this all the time? See, this is why we're good at what we do because you guys think that this is all scripted, right? But it's not. We totally go off the limb. We talk about whatever
We
we
ain't gotta
feel,
let them know. Let them think we get
and
it
then
right,
we just
dog.
flow. No, we always properly prepare before we
what
get on
about-
stage. But
what
you know,
about-
sometimes the greats ad lib, baby?
So I just said something that made me think, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said boxing or UFC is overtaking boxing
Uh-huh.
in the mainstream. But what about it? I don't think that's necessarily true in terms of where the money's at though, because you've got arguably the biggest, biggest heavyweight name in UFC switched over to boxing, and now he's about to fight Anthony Joshua. And what I was just reading is potentially the winner of that fight will fight the winner out of Usyk and Fury.
Well, I don't know if I would necessarily disagree with you what you just said, but I will say that I think that boxing is kind of taking back a little bit more respect, right? I think with the the rise of, let's keep it real, Jake Paul and the promoting that he's done is what's kind of highlighted and brought money back into the sport of boxing. A lot of people have drawn a lot more attention back to boxing ever since he's put on some of the shows that he's put on. And I think, we're starting to see a little bit more, pay-per-view views and things like that boxing has lost for years to the UFC. Now they're starting to fight and take some of that stuff back. So, I don't know if I would necessarily say that they make more money, but I think boxing is definitely making a stake to get back in that mix.
So you said I'm good at freestyling it. So let me freestyle this,
Okay.
mailbag question, and so we can get out of here and let these folks get back to it.
Okay.
Okay. Do you think the nostalgia of boxing and its history and longevity is too much for the UFC to overcome to completely replace it in the mainstream's mind?
No,
Why not?
because I think the UFC has built up its own nostalgia.
It has.
Right? I think it has its own stories, its own history. Before the UFC became the UFC, it was other combat sports that birthed the UFC. So there's a great history behind the UFC and what it all encompasses.
How long back does it go though?
You want me to give you an exact year? I ain't.
What
on it like
I
that,
mean
but
what I mean by that is
I think
you can take
is
boxing
old.
back to the old days, bro.
You
There's
can.
old heads that they're so in the same breath.
But would you say karate, jiu-jitsu? Would you?
I'm
say
talking about the
wrestling?
UFC.
Would you say that's
No,
all
because-
encompassed within the UFC though?
Yes and no, because
So isn't that a part of history,
Pride.
right? Isn't, like-
well, no, because
Isn't
like
R&B a part of hip hop?
there's other brands of mixed martial arts and cage fighting, but none of it's the UFC.
but
None of it's the
But
UFC.
does it get applied in the UFC?
But it doesn't matter, bro. Everyone's trying to get UFC is the pinnacle.
I get
UFC is
that.
the pinnacle. And so what I'm asking you is, will the UFC specifically, because boxing has a long history of being boxing,
There's a lot of boxing leagues. There's kickboxing. There's regular boxing.
but boxing is boxing, bro.
But there's boxing. You got the big time. The Spence and Crawfords. Then you got the Jake Paul boxing.
so
that's going on right now.
it's
That's
still boxing because the people that you know what I mean? Like it's sanctioned by either the
Celebrity
WBA,
boxing is
IBF, or WBO.
Celebrity boxing is boxing.
If it's sanctioned by the WBA, the WBO, the IBF,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like those are the sanctioning bodies of boxing. Those
So
have been
is it
sanctioned.
easier to get into boxing than it is into the UFC?
I would say probably not easy to get in either one of them
Okay.
because I mean you see how many like when we do the fights for Icon and Mario has his shows, you see how many fighters come through there.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many fighters there are out there. You know what I mean? Like the same thing can be said about mixed martial arts too. And I just point out the UFC specifically because before the UFC, these leagues may have been around, and there may have been some leagues around. There may have been obviously karate tournaments and different tournaments and things like that. But the UFC is in terms of cage fighting is like, dude, that they are the one. They are the pioneer in it, right? Pride exists because of the UFC. You know what I mean? PFL exists because of UFC. So like what I'm saying is it doesn't UFC, you don't go back. So there's in the same breath that I said what I said, there's generations of kids that know nothing but the UFC.
But you still applied celebrity boxing to boxing if it's under the WBO, the IBF.
If it's sanctioned, but
if it's still sanctioned,
but it's not
there's
sanctioned, it's
Still
an exhibition.
Bellator. There's still Bellator. There's still all these other
I get that. You're missing the point. Those don't date back though.
You're taking the UFC.
Do they date back?
You're taking UFC as one corporation. Of a particular combat sport
Yes.
up against the whole entire combat sport of boxing.
Against boxing itself. Because mixed martial arts is multiple disciplines. What I'm saying is though,
But if it's already the comparison of one organization within that combat sport versus the entire combat sport, that the answer
bro,
is yes.
Take Bellator.
The answer is yes.
Take all the other fighting
If
leagues.
they're already in the conversation by themselves, then they already surpassed them.
Take all the cage fighting leagues.
They already
Take them
surpassed
all. Take them all. Put them in there. But how far do they go back? Do any of them go back as far as boxing?
That wasn't the question. You said where they surpassed them.
I was saying, well, does the longevity of boxing prevent the UFC from surpassing boxing in the mainstream's mind? Because you got old heads, you got 80-year-old, 70-year-old, 60-year-old heads
It's not
that can
about
go
that.
back and tell you. But
Life has never been about that.
about what?
Life has always been about what have you done for me lately.
Maybe.
It always has.
But we always sitting around talking about the good old days.
We are. We always reminisce, but how many times does that actually really fucking matter?
I mean, it matters to somebody.
When you tell
you mean to
a
tell me
kid-
your past don't matter?
No, it does. But when you tell a kid, right, hey, don't do this because I did this. Trust me, I know. How many times does that really truly matter?
It matters to some.
How many times does that really take? Like, do they take that into consideration? Because I know a lot of people told me that.
How many times do they
I had to learn on my
not
own.
take it? How many times you never took what some old head told you into consideration, even though you still had to learn on your own?
No, after the fact, I was like, damn, I should have listened to the old head.
Well, of course, that's hindsight. But I'm saying it doesn't pop up in your head like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. When you
Not
fucked
when I
up,
was a young
when you
man.
fucked up and your mama whooped your ass, you didn't, and then you went to go fuck up again. You didn't think mama's gonna whoop my ass again, but you still did it.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, I don't know. I wanted to bring that up. It was a good little convo.
But the UFC has already surpassed them though, based off your argument. Just saying, if that's right though, if it's one corporation versus the whole sport of boxing, like, come on, like you can't do that.
I'm not saying that
oranges versus
UFC's.
apples.
Listen, bro, I'm not saying that I'm saying the UFC is the pinnacle.
Okay,
All right, to be a WBA, a WBO, or IBF champion is the pinnacle of boxing. You have all these other bouts that don't mean shit, but the major sanctioning bodies of boxing is what matter, right?
but there's
Why is it such a big
plenty
deal
of
for
athletes that go from the UFC to Bellator because it's a better decision.
Yeah, and then when they reach the championship, they reach the pinnacle of that league.
It's still-
but is it bigger than the pinnacle of the UFC?
It is for them. It is nowadays.
I'm
sometimes.
not talking about them. I'm talking about everyone else. I'm talking about
I
us.
think the UFC being in the conversation with boxing by itself is the fact that it's already somewhat surpassed them, or it's already threatening the whole entity of boxing itself.
I think the fact that the UFC is
And
just
it hurts me to say that,
listen,
but it's true.
I think the fact that the UFC is just the UFC and it's not a umbrella for Bellator and all these other leagues is what makes it what it is. That makes it the best and what gives, a possibility of it surpassing boxing in the future. And it already kind of has started to take the lead. And it's because it's literally the best of the best. And it's not, you got a champion here, champion here, champion here. Like, who's the real champion? Unless you're fucking unifying the bouts. Mm-hmm. We know Bud Crawford is the champion, right? But you go into some of these other weight classes, there's 4 different champions. So yes, in that aspect, it definitely is. And that's the reason why people always give of why they like the UFC a little bit more than boxing, right? Because there's so many weight classes, so many champions. You don't know who's a pound for pound champ. But let's be real. When we talking about boxing, we know who the baddest motherfuckers are out there.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? There's only a select few, even though
But
there's
they
all
never
these.
fight.
That's the thing and that's the difference between
And
boxing
that's
and
why
UFC.
they might get surpassed.
Exactly, because the different promotions
Like, it's all
keep
about
things
the
from
show
happening.
at the end of the day. And,
Yep.
and it's an entertainment business.
It is an entertainment business.
And the UFC has figured that out. And that's why they're in talks at the same time with the entire entity of boxing.
And that's why
And that's why they're
if boxing isn't careful, the shit that Jake Paul's doing
is gonna
is going to build enough momentum to start really pulling away. Just like the Live Golf Tour started pulling away from the PGA Golf Tour, it's going to start building enough momentum where the best fighters, maybe they don't want to fight for these different promotions. Maybe they want to go make some money with Jake Paul's promotion and he puts good enough fights together. I mean, look at PFL signing Ngannou. You know what I mean? Like they're going to put some good fights together.
Let me ask you this: what if Jake Paul gets into the cage with the Diaz? Right, that's what he talked about doing. What if that happens and he wins, and then he starts to get into the realm of UFC and he sees, oh, I'm making more money than I was in boxing, and now he brings his promotion over to the UFC. Now, what does that do to boxing? Because now all the promotion is gone.
I don't think Jake
All the main time promotion
Paul,
is gonna win a match in the UFC.
even if he beat Diaz, say he beat Nate Diaz, right? As he climbs that ladder, it's the same
But
thing.
there's so many
Listen,
leagues around that you didn't want to throw into
Listen,
the mix.
it's the same. Well, you said UFC.
No, I know, but I'm saying
It's
like,
the same thing as boxing. Like once Jake Paul starts climbing the ladder in boxing, and he starts fighting a different style of a different level of boxer.
but it would still be getting a sanctioned title, right? Because isn't the Bellator a sanctioned title? Still, isn't it?
It's a league. It's their league. Bellator is their
so it's but
own thing. Yeah. So they
it's a
have
legit title though.
It's a legit title, but you put the Bellator champ versus the UFC champ. Who do you think's gonna win?
Yeah, it depends on the matchup.
There's no knock on it because they get some good
depends on
fighters
the
over there. There's
matchup.
motherfuckers that can't cut it in the UFC no more. They go to Bellator.
But there's also motherfuckers in Bellator
That come to the UFC.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
shock the
No,
world.
absolutely.
That's what's great about fighting, right? You never fucking know.
Well, we about to fight right the fuck here if we don't get out.
No, I have one more question.
What's your question?
Are we about to get out of here?
Yo, it's been fun, bro.
It has.
It's been a fun one. Like we went a little bit longer than I think we thought we were going to.
Hey, but
We make things happen, brother, rapping and
sometimes
trapping.
That's the way it goes when the conversation flows.
Yo,
and you finish a whole bottle. That wasn't a bottle.
We didn't finish it in one sitting.
We did in two.
3, 2,
2.
2.
I mean, really, I only had a drink out of it before you.
Yo. Shout out to Inkless Laser. Icon Sales and Boxing. Make sure you go see MCF over there at the American Legion in Commerce City. Go support, help that kid get to nationals. Very, very big opportunity. Yo, shout out to Zach G, the Play Harder podcast, Anytime Flood Restoration, Rebel Promotions, Black Sevens, Genesis Catering, Lash All Beauty, Cutthroat Barbers and Anglers. Hit up AJ, get one of these hats, get one of these sweaters. Shout out to the Canyon Fly Shop, Colorado Wolfpack Football Association. As always, DNASportsDenver.com. Make sure you check it out. Cop yourself something. Say what up. Follow the podcast. Let us know where we wrong or where we're right.
Yep. And if you don't do that, then you're just missing out, bro. Like on good content. Like hit us up, check us out, hit up our socials, hit up our YouTube. Do what you gotta do. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you don't, I ain't even gonna say nothing mean. Have a good life.
Yo, we appreciate y'all, man. We're hopping out of here. Peace.
Yeah.